Okay, thank you all for joining us. Please leave your lines muted until called upon to ask a question. We will open up with a statement from Coach Shaw.
Really tight, close college football game. Two factors are the most important factors for me. Number one, with 3 great drives in the first half, but only came away with 13 points. When you're on the road, those have to be touchdowns. They can't be field goals. We need minimum 2 touchdowns and a field goal, if not 3 touchdowns, because teams at home, they're going to come back and they're going to fight you. And so we even though we had the lead, we still put ourselves in a hole. Defensively, we got stops, got off the field. Offensively, we drove down the field, but we should have had 21 points instead of 13. So when a home team catches momentum, they catch back up. Our guys showed great resilience in the second half, got stops on the defensive side. Offensively, we drove down the field, especially when we had to have it. Big plays by the quarterback, big plays by our receivers and tight ends and Austin Jones. And then, that last drive, explosive plays. We played so well in the second half on defense, but we gave up explosive plays and gave up the opportunity to win the game. That's what it boils down for me. Questions?
If you'd like to ask a question, Coach Shaw, please use the raise hand function. We will open up with Harold Gutmann.
Hey, Coach, just how disappointing was it on that last drive to not even attempt a pass? What, I guess, without watching the film, but do you have any sense of what happened on those breakdowns, those last 3 plays with Tanner under pressure each time?
We lost in pass protection. My disappointment or not is inconsequential. That's just what happened. We didn't pass protect like we had been pass protecting the whole game. They're active up front. They're not the biggest guys, but they're quick and they're athletic. And we had done a good job most of the game, even on third down, pass protecting. And last series there, we had a couple of shots, had a couple of guys that were breaking open, but their guys beat our guys up front.
Troy Clardy.
Yeah, Coach, can you take us through that call on third down as you're trying to run down the clock inside 4 minutes to go? What was the call? What exactly were you guys looking for in that situation?
It was a tight end screen. So what they had done is they had shown pressure and dropped out the whole game. So we were anticipating they were going to drop out again. They didn't drop out. Typically on a screen, you tell the quarterback to dirt the ball, but I told Tanner not to, right? Because we wanted the clock to run. So if it wasn't there, just to muddle forward and get some positive yards if you can, but really keep the clock running and make them take that timeout, which they did. So yeah, we took a chance, didn't want to drop back and throw it deep, wanted to run the ball. But then we found a screen that we've been working on, honestly, for 3 weeks. They called the right defense. If they called what they've been calling the whole game, it would have been great. They switched it up at the right time and got us. But, quarterback did what we asked him to. Don't throw it in the ground, make them take that timeout, and they did.
Ben Parker.
Yeah, Coach, Ben Yurosek got off to a really good start in that first quarter, and then fourth quarter finished really strong. But was there anything you guys could have done to get him more involved in the second, third quarters? And what was Wazoo doing defensively to kind of take him out of the game there in those periods?
So the way it works is we call plays and the quarterback goes through his progressions. And if it leads to Ben, great. If it leads to somebody else, great. So we want to put our playmakers in position to make plays, but we're not going to force the ball. So there are opportunities for other guys to get the ball. There are opportunities for us to run the ball. So that's just how that works.
We'll go back to Troy Clardy.
Bye week is finally here. What's the biggest order of business for this team right now besides getting healthy?
Well, that's number one is combination getting some guys healthy, but also getting a lot of guys a break. It's been one hell of a schedule. It really has. A lot of traveling. Played 7 games and 5 teams at one point in time were in the top 25. I don't know if anybody's played that this entire year, but it's been a hell of a stretch, and our guys need a break. We can get off our feet, get a couple guys get back healthy, and see if we can finish this season on the kind of run that we're capable of.
We'll go back to Harold Gutmann.
I know you said you'll on offense you'll take what the defense gives you, and how Arizona State had kind of stuffed the box last week. But do you need to have more of a productive running game in order to get some of these close wins? Do you think?
It's hard to answer that question. We got to be more efficient in everything that we do. We had some great runs tonight. Some really good runs by Austin Jones, some really good runs by Nathaniel Pete. And at the same time, we had some passing opportunities. You know, our goal is not to come in here and run for a whole bunch of yards. The goal is come in here and be efficient in everything that we do. You know, and it's a good football team we just played. You know, they beat a really good Oregon State team last week. You know, they made enough plays to beat us today. There are a lot of things that we have to clean up. But I thought we ran the ball better today. Same thing though. I mean, they gave us opportunities, which is why Ben had a nice night, which is why Austin Jones had a nice night in the passing game. They gave us some things, we took advantage of them.
Any final questions for Coach? Go ahead, Ben.
Yeah, even though this game was a loss for you, just how nice was it to get Austin Jones' first touchdown and just kind of maybe hopefully building a little bit of momentum for him going down the stretch of that first TD of the year?
Yeah, Austin's one of our leaders. He's worked so hard. He had to miss some time. He came back, and he's done everything we've asked up to this point. You know, Casey couldn't finish the game. We've had to rotate our back so much. But I thought both guys played really well tonight. And run and pass. You know, we're going to continue to need them going forward, and we'll see what happens with Casey. We'll see what happens with EJ. But I thought, you know, Austin just gave his typical great effort tonight. Had some opportunities and made the most of them. Bottom line is we got to take advantage of those opportunities in the first half as an offense. And those 2 field goals early on killed us. We put the game back in doubt. And then at the end, you know, we got to close the door on the offense and close the door on the defense. And we didn't do that.
Our final question, Coach Shaw, will come from Troy Clardy.
Any other health and injury things come out of this game initially?
Not right now. You know, Casey was not able to finish. You know, guys got banged up here and there, but that's this great game. You know, it's difficult, it's hard, it's physical. But we'll see how we came out of it. Hopefully over this bye week, we'll get a lot of guys back and try to be as close to full strength as possible for this final push.
Thank you very much, Coach Shaw. We'll now be joined by Austin Jones.
Thank you.
Video on.
Oh, sorry.
Now joined by running back Austin Jones. We will roll straight into questions. If you'd like to ask questions, please use the raise hand function now. We will start off with Ben Parker.
Hey, Austin. I asked Coach the same question. For you personally, how nice is it to get that first touchdown of the season, and any kind of sense of that maybe giving you some more momentum and mojo as you head into the second half of the year? Just how nice was it to get that first TD of the year for you?
Yeah, it was nice. You know, been working pretty hard, and just finally getting the end zone was great. Yeah. It was perfect. I mean, I'm happy to get the opportunity to get in the end zone, but at the end of the day, you know, I'm still looking back on the team, and you know, we didn't get the win. So,
Go ahead, Troy.
Austin, overall, what sort of things could have gone better for you guys tonight?
Truly, it's just execution. We have to execute better as a team. You know, there's a lot of times where we kind of have lapses in our offense where we're having long kind of draw outs where we're not getting enough first downs or anything like that. So it really falls back on us as a team. We got to be more efficient, like Coach said, and just continue just to sustain more longer drives.
Go ahead, Harold.
Hey, Austin, this is obviously a tough loss. Kind of you have to sit on it for 2 weeks now with the open week. What's kind of the mindset, and how are you going to use the open week, do you think?
I mean, I went to every single person on the team and I said, you got to come back ready to work Monday, plain and simply. You know, it's going to hurt. This is going to hurt most definitely. But at the end of the day, all we can do is come back and work. We can't sit back on losses and just, you know, think about all what we could have done. We just got to continue to move forward get guys back healthy, work on our bodies, and just continue to push forward because I know that we have every single piece that we need on this team in order to win games.
We'll go back to Troy.
Yeah, when this offense was clicking throughout much of the second half in particular, and Tanner was like 17 of his final 20 and throwing a couple touchdown passes along the way, what was going right offensively from your perspective throughout much of the second half?
Like I said already, we're just executing at a high level, and that's all we needed to do was just continue to push ourselves, to continue to execute. And later on in the game, that's where it kind of got us. But that second half is where we really showed that we can move the ball and continuously move the ball eventually.
Do we have any final questions for Austin? Thank you very much, Austin.
Thank you.
We'll be joined by Thomas Booker here shortly.
What's going on?
Now joined by Thomas Booker. We'll roll straight into questions, starting off with Ben Parker.
Hey, Thomas, can you just walk us through that blocked field goal that you got? Just kind of what did you see, and kind of how do you block a field goal? Just kind of jump and hope for the best, or did you see? Just kind of walk us through that.
Yeah, absolutely. For me, the key to blocking kicks is get off and being able to time the snap and load my legs beforehand. So I try to crowd the ball as much as I can, just because it's a math equation at the end of the day. The less distance you have to cover, the quicker you can do it, the better chance you have of blocking the field goal or the PAT. So for me, really, it's about, that first initial crowding the ball. And then I kind of start loading my front leg, which is usually my left leg. And as soon as it gets to around the time when I know the ball is going to be snapped, I start keying the ball and I really start loading that leg up. So as soon as I see any movement, any hitch in the arms or the hand of that snapper, I'm out of there. And then as soon as I start getting penetration around 2 yards, that's when I try to get a hand up. I think on like 3 or 4 of those attempts, I was pretty close. One of them I was too low and I couldn't get my hand up. But yeah, it's a great feeling to get one, but I feel like I probably should have gotten at least one more today.
Go ahead, Troy.
Yeah, Thomas, some moments where you're able to bottle up Borgie, others not quite so much, especially a couple of draws in the second half or the second quarter rather, that kind of started to loosen up Washington State's offense a little bit. When things were going right against this Washington State offense, what was going right? And when things weren't going right, what was going wrong?
Yeah, I think when things were going right, we were playing physical assignment sound defense. This is kind of a similarity through our games this year. When we play extremely assignment sound, eye discipline defense, then we can get guys out the field very, very quickly. You saw at the beginning of the game, 2 3 and outs, 4th down stop. These are things that our defense is capable of doing on a weekly basis. And I think when we're not playing that type of football, that's when stuff starts getting opened up, when the passer has too much time in the pocket, right? I can't speak to the secondary because I don't play over there, but, they have their keys as well. So I think you kind of see some of those collapses when people get off of their keys and start trying to do too much. So yeah, that's our thing every single week. You're not trying to search for the play. The play will come to you if you're doing your job, and it will come to you and you'll make it, and you don't have to do anything extra.
We'll go back to Ben.
Yeah, just in general, you got the bye week coming up. Do you feel the bye week is coming at a good time for you guys? You've lost 2 in a row. Just kind of a chance to hit the reset button a bit, heal up, and come back home with 2 straight. Is this a good time for the bye week, do you think, for you guys?
Yeah, I think so. I think we got some guys banged up. Most teams do in the midseason. So I think it's a great time for us to be able to get some of these bodies back and just key in on the details and have some extra time to prepare for our next opponent. So yeah, I think it's a good thing. I think the team really needs to kind of do some introspection, look at what went wrong, what we can do better, so we can come out in our next opportunity and kill it.
We'll go to Jackson Moore.
Thomas, you talked about kind of what's gone right and what's gone wrong being kind of similar themes. Just what do you feel like the hurdle is to trying to get to that consistency for the rest of the way?
Yeah, I think it comes in practice, right? Practice should be harder than the game. Practice, you should be getting more, disadvantageous looks than you do in the game. So I think keying in on practice and using practice as an opportunity to truly prepare. I try to use the metaphor of like an exam for games, right? Every single game on every Saturday is like a final exam, right? And the question is, did you put in the work? Did you study on that Tuesday and Wednesday practice when we're in full pads, right? Because those are our biggest physical opportunities to get ready for the game. Have you been mentally preparing the entire week so that, I think you guys saw earlier in the game, Ricky Miezon had a great TFL on the screenplay, and we had called that out from the jump, So football, at the end of the day, it's pretty simple, right? If you do your studying, if you do your work, if you lock onto your keys, you can snuff a lot of stuff out before it happens. So I think that's a big key for us, treating practice like, the homework assignments, the studying to get you ready for the final exam that is, our games on Saturday.
We'll go to Troy Clardy.
5 in a row for the Cougs against the Card. Well, what do you make of it?
Yeah, it's disappointing. Obviously they have a great football team, and that's why they've rattled off those wins. But I feel like, again, the offense put us in a position to end the game at the end of this one, right? That's all you can ask for as a defense, to be able to come out in the field and end the game, and we just didn't do that. So definitely disappointing, but hats off to them. They're a great program. But yeah.
Any final questions for Thomas? Okay, thank you all for joining us tonight. We'll be sending out recordings shortly. Thank you.
Thank you guys. Appreciate it.